Welcome back to the Take Podcast, a member of the Royal Aquatic Network. And here, we seek to cover the news that isn't considered popular or relevant enough in today's media landscape, and some things that are. World news and topics from all continents. Yes, even Antarctica will be covered, ranging from environmental, culture, history, politics, and economics. With that being said, we'd also like to give a shout out to a conscious hip hop artist from Minnesota. Not only is she talented in the vocal department, but she's also the producer of 612 Beats. So thank you, Waterstyle, for not only what you contribute to this podcast when it comes to this excellent music, as well as on the Patreon, but to the industry as a whole. With that, as always, enjoy and feel free to reach out and keep this an interactive experience. Welcome back to the Take Podcast with your host, Sean D. James. And as you can see from the title, we are talking about a pet band. Yeah. Alright, so this was a real mind blower when I saw this article in one of my news feeds. New York bans pet stores from selling dogs, cats, and rabbits. No, at first I thought this was a joke until I realized it said the New York Times had posted the article. Then I said, okay, this isn't a joke. This is not a joke. Wow. Okay. The following thoughts were, how is this even possible? Fucking New York with another ban on happiness. And Jersey better not try and pull this stunt. I talk a lot of shit about New York when it comes to the laws. Because as far as I'm concerned, they are literally East Coast California. And here we are, New Jersey. That's looking like, hey, what y'all doing over there? All right, we're going to copy that real quick. We're going to take a little some of that. Like, please do not follow suit with this, Jersey. Please do not. That's when it hit me. How many other states already use this law? Because if, one Democratic state is following another, one Republican state is following another, at a certain point you look and go, yeah, let me look this up real quick. Well, thanks to freelance journalist Margaret Osborne, I found my answer in her article covering this exact topic. 6 states have a ban on the sales of dogs, cats, and rabbits, with New York being that 6th state. Okay, well, who are the other 5? Well, I kind of already mentioned the first one there. California, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, and Washington. Funny enough, with the inclusion of New York, that makes 4 states who are also in unison on gun laws. Once again, a ban on happiness, similar state politics or perspective of politics. So, how not surprising that they are in lockstep with this. Hey, Sean here, and I wanted to take this time to talk to you about our foundation that can use a little assistance. The Wales Rugby Academy is a foundation developed and run by former Ugandan women's national team player, Miss Fortunate Irakonda. She is providing children with the opportunity at a future through sports, teamwork, and leadership development. But like always, in the end, there's only but so much one person can get done on their own. So I'm asking you, take the time and click on the link in the description to see what the Wales Rugby Academy has to offer. Join the likes of York Rugby League Football Club in England, the European Rugby League, and yours truly, Sean D. James, in aiding communities with a brighter future. For more information about funding, potential partnerships, and sponsorships, Ms. Ericonda's information will be below. Thank you for your time, and now back to the show. So, what's the purpose of Bill S1130 and its corresponding bill A4283 in the state of New York? Well, according to a letter by celebrity pet owners sent to Governor Hochul, is to make it harder for commercial breeders from profiting off of animal cruelty and inhumane conditions. Okay, I mean, off of that alone, that sounds right. You know, like nobody wants animal cruelty and those nasty conditions we see them in cages and stuff like that. But I find it funny. It's like, oh, it's from celebrity pet owners. Celebrity pet owners. Celebrities send a letter to governor of a state and they say, hey, we gotta change things. It's like, you know what? Let's get on it. Let's push this through. Wow. Now, I wonder if this letter came from just, regular citizens from, let's say, two of the boroughs, Troy, New York, and where was I recently? I went to Monsley. That was how I pronounced Monsley. And let's say Nyack. Let's say parts of these New York, there's people just had a good petition of 1,000 each and said, Governor Hochul, let's go, get to it, get this sign. We need to save these animals from these inhumane conditions and the cruelty they go through. Would this bill have got pushed through from just those random locations? Or would it have been something like, yeah, it's not on the agenda. This needs to get focused on by their local councilman or councilwoman. Let them handle that. I have bigger concerns. Or was it really a case of, no, this was always on the agenda. It doesn't matter that celebrities who have some influence out there to a certain degree or beyond my own degree are pushing for this. Maybe it literally was on the bill and it's like, this is something that's important that I believe should get done. Leave that to you to decide. The problem is that this is looking like a blanket ban, according to Jessica Selmer, the president of People United to Protect Pet Integrity, or as it's known by its acronym, PUPPY. Yeah, you gotta find a good name, you really do. So PUPPY is a coalition of pet store owners. Now, I'm more inclined to listen to them first before the celebrities, and then I'll gauge from there. But there's also a first come first serve type of status. Like, who came here with the issue first? You had the issue first. All right, boom. Oh, your response to that. Okay, now let me hear both sides and let's make a proper adjustment. Well, Ms. Selmer states, by ending licensed and regulated pet stores, you will remove the people who vet breeders, ensure the health of newly homed pets with established veterinarians, and guarantee the success of a new pet family. Okay. I see where Miss Selmer is coming from. I mean, like, when you put it that way, it's like, okay, wait, so you're not just going after, like, bad people. You're just saying, like, no, this is a statewide. Everybody's hit with this. Let's go. And it's like, mm, that's a little. That's a little. Yeah, screw that. It's not a little. That is extremely overboard when you're, people that are licensed and regulated already, and now you're just throwing them in with the people that are just, hey, you need a dog? What's up? I got this pet. Yeah, I breed them. Yeah, I got you. What's up? Yeah, it's gonna run you all this. Alright, come by my house. I have them ready for you. Yup, which one you wanted? Oh, so you know what? Unfortunately, I messed up. That dog was already for sale. Like, oh, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take 250 off, and I'll give you the sister. Oh, you want the brother? Which one? Cause I know you want a boy, but if you look at the way your child was feeling for that one, the girl looks similar. We could just let they don't. The gender doesn't really matter to your child, right? Like, nah, they don't matter. But like, all right, so cool. Let's I'll drop the price off. All right, boy, I'll take it. And you just like, oh, they showing them outside in the backyard, running around all happy. Yet they actually got them living in the basement where it's moldy, barely getting sunlight, and them being outside, this fresh air has them so energetic, they're running around, and you're just like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. And the next there's some trauma or some health issues with the puppy, and a person that so happen to be like, they out. You show up like, hey, I had an issue. What's going on? Like, I had a health. They said blah blah blah. You go to that person's house, they're not even there. That wasn't even their house. That was just some random spot they was using to set up shop, and now they're gone. And now you're just like, oh my god. They told me $1,000 for this breeder dog. They apologized for the mistake, dropped the price. I'm $750 out on a dog that just died 3 weeks after I got it because of health conditions. And now my child is upset about this. What the hell? So I get you know, I get the issue that you are trying to prevent that from happening. But if you are throwing all pet stores into this, yeah, you go you're going a step in a march beyond what you should be doing. They say we have a housing shortage going on right now. Not just here in America, but all around the world. And they say the issue is shortages, from labor to supplies to buyers. But one company has chosen to put themselves at the forefront of being a solution to that problem. And that company is Boxable. Boxable is a Las Vegas, Nevada based company that specializes in prefab modular homes with a twist. And that twist is innovation. You see, they've taken the assembly line model and applied it to their 170,000 square foot factory. This has allowed them to develop the Casita. The Casita is Boxable's first modular design. This unit is a 375 square foot, 20 by 20, water, bug, and mold resistant, fire retardant, and high winds. Oh, it can withstand high winds. Full kitchen, full bathroom, and wheelchair accessible dwelling unit. Now, all that sounds good, but what makes it really stand out? You said they do an assembly line, man. Okay, cool. Okay. What makes it really stand out? Well, this is where the innovation comes into play. Because your 20 by 20 dwelling unit is foldable. And when I say foldable, I mean just that. It folds down to an 8.5 wide by 12 foot tall, easy and efficient shipping unit. This is what innovation looks and sounds like. Not only that, but upon delivery, it can be set up and ready to go within an hour. Yes, an hour. No more of those, you know what, I think I want an attachment to the house. Maybe we should get an ADU. We could use an additional dwelling unit. make a little extra money with, Airbnb, Verbo, or just put it online. Hey, we have a housing unit available. Well, with Boxable, that's a possibility now. So, the question here is, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and see what the future looks like for renters and home buyers alike. Because with a modular unit, prefab homes, the possibilities are always endless. So, there are only around 80 pet stores in the state of New York. Like, well, I'm not talking about like, oh, it's New York City, the borough. No, we're saying this the way this was written said, it's the state of New York. There are only around 80 pet stores. And according to one store manager, Amelia Ortiz at City Pubs, which is located in Chelsea, this will not only put them out of business, as 90% of their sales, 90% are dogs, like so many others. And it's like, this leads back to what I said. Hey, I got this dog for sale. I know this person. I got you. What's up? You're eventually putting these stores out of business with that. And that right there is you might want to redo what you was doing. You might want to, readdress and look that up. Because this is, would this be one of those bad for the economy type of things? So, what happens to those who, choose to ignore this law? Which goes into effect December of 2024. Well, the usual. Simply a fine. Okay, cool. You're going to fine me? Whatever. I don't care. Yeah, we're going to fine you up to $1,000 per violation. So for every dog, cat, and rabbit sold, we're going to charge you $1,000. Oh. Okay. 1,000. I mean, that sounds about average. I mean, me personally, I would assume you're going to get charged 1,000, between $500 and $1,000. I personally would assume that same thing. But then it's just like, well, how much do you actually make from selling some of these breeds of dogs? That's actually going to cover that fine cost. I mean, you got people who be like, oh, I paid $2,500 for this dog. All right, well, that one dog covers me for 2.5. All right, cool. So that cat for 500. All right, boom. That has covered the cost of the two of them sold and one more if I sell. But if I don't get enough breed, like, where are you, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5xing your money on one dog to cover that fine of others? I get how this is a way to stop puppy mill breeders like the notorious puppy seller Henry Summers and Iowan. Yeah, I'm just gonna say this real quick. When you don't think about other states and how they identify, it is funny. Like, he's from Iowa, so he's an Iowan. So like, oh, they're from New York, they're a New Yorker. It's like, alright, they're from Florida, they're Floridian. And I'm like, is that a breed of flower? Cause that sounds nice. I need to go buy that. Go buy a dozen of those Floridian flowers. Like, you from Jersey? Oh, you're a Jerseyan. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Jersey. Like, that's a good laugh to me to sit here. What ending you put on that state to recognize their people? So, yeah, this notorious puppy seller Henry Summers, who's an Iowan, who has shipped puppies to two pet stores in New York, Teacup Pup, Teacup Pup, and Astoria Pets, which are both located in Queens. This was the reason for the soft changes to the bill before its signing. The changes are meant to help soften the economic blow to those pet stores that are on the up and up. Soften the economic blow. Okay. Okay. So you did think about the fact that it is going to affect them financially. Okay. A part of the changes allows pet stores to rent out their store space. Hmm? Hold on. Let's run that back real quick. A part of the changes allows pet stores to rent out their store space to animal shelters for adoption events. Yeah. So you're telling me to charge rent to animal shelters who are funded by donations and or grants awarded by the state, a fee that will go right back to the state. Uh okay, let me see, do my math. Yeah, I'm just gonna say now. This sounds like the early stages of a mergers and acquisition of pet stores for state government benefit. I say this because grants can be used to conduct, renovate, rehabilitate, or acquire buildings and equipment needed to house, treat, and care for sheltered animals. So, if I'm charging you, rent, I'm trying to charge you like a vent space fee to maybe a renter's fee, and I'm just not bringing in the money, and I gotta just shut down. But they saying, well, hey, we need a place to use. They can apply for a grant and then go, hey, Gov, we're gonna need that. We want to apply for this grant because this building's prime location. It's been slowly helping our shelter, and we need it. Okay, we understand it's a grant. It will help expand. It will make things okay. It'll be good for the community because then it keeps the community with something that's familiar to them and this and that. Okay, that's understandable. There we go. And dotted and signed. Here you go. Have a good day. Thank you. We got our grant. We got this building. And then somebody has just lost a business. They've lost a business. The property was available. And now it's been acquired that fast. I can literally see that happening. This is a clever move since animal adoption spiked during the pandemic. I mean, people were lonely, they needed companionship, and pets was a viable option. I completely get it. At a certain point, that almost became like support animals for people. Okay. The problem is, it had an even sharper spike in returns and drop offs to shelters once things started to open back up. So people basically said, hey, I bought this nice little toy. I kept my receipt. Return it within 90 days. All right, boom, done. Here you go. Oh, we can't return it? I'm about to go to a different shelter and drop them off. Yeah, I just can't take care of this pet. Yeah, here you go. Done. And you're like, oh. The problem I'm seeing with this legislation is the headlines and context. The headlines draws you into one aspect, while the context draws you to the other. The intent of the legislation is to encourage people to adopt from shelters and rescue organizations. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's all good, well intended. But you are creating a blanket ban, and this makes the headline overpower the intent in the context. See, for me, it's like people are just basically saying, hey, it's a pet ban. There's your headline. The context is, look, the truth is, we're doing it for the animals that are just getting picked up by families and dropped right back off. Like, you gotta think about that. Cool, I get that. But then when you look at the other half of the context, it's you're also penalizing those who are not these evil people who have these puppy mills and they're in other states and then they're transferring them over to your state. You're basically penalizing them for being on the up and up, being good law-abiding citizens, following the laws, following regulations, getting their license, and you're hitting them with, nah, you're in the same group. We're gonna penalize all of you. And I'm just like, wow, that is crazy. That to me is really crazy. Because then if like it gets me because I go back to the whole pandemic aspect. And like just watching those videos when people was like lonely and they're trying to communicate with one another. And it's like, oh, they're having a date. She's in that building, he's in that building. Like she's like she's playing an instrument, I think, and like he was doing art or something, and they look at each other like, oh, hi. And then like they're talking via phone. It's like, oh, would you like to go on a date? And she's like, sure. And then like they're literally, he's on his balcony, she's on the roof of the building, and they're looking at one another like, oh, having conversation. I'm just like, it was rough. It was tough times for some people, and for others, it was hard times. Yeah, I had to throw it in there. I did that talk recently on the Wisdom app, and it was that was a for me that's a prime example of when people went through tough times and people went through hard times. And I look at it and I just go, yeah, others weren't that lucky. Some people were just like introverted. So this was a benefit of them getting a pet and having some type of companionship in their life. And it's easy to see how those who were extroverted and was just like, oh my God, I can't be around people. Oh my God, they needed something. There were pets right there for them. For some people, that became almost, stopping them from dealing with anxiety and potentially, when somebody has panic attacks, they've shown like, dogs have been excellent for soothing people and helping with that. And I look at it and I just go, you are truly about to fuck people over with this legislation. Because when the next crisis happens and it's people got to go back in the houses again, lockdowns and this and that, and then it's like, well, they need pets. Now it's about to be on some awkwardness when it's like, oh, we'll go to the shelters and the rescues to go get pets. We're about to, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. People going to do this. It has the potential effect of being the exact same thing of people getting pets and then dropping them right back off. But the worst potential effect is the level of humane living for all these pets and sheltering all of them. If you don't get the space and time, then it leads to, well, I don't want a shelter animal. I don't want a rescue animal. You know what? I'm about to find some breeders out of state and I'm just going to go pick the pet up and come back. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Oh, they're willing to actually drop them off? Even better. Because then when they show up, it's going to be like, oh, yes, I'm just checking on family. Oh, I was out of state. My car got messed up, so I had to get a rental. This is a rental car. Like they can literally just go rent a car and say, this is a rental. My car got messed up. So I'm just, I'm on my way back home to New York. Like, oh, okay. I'm on my way back home, whatever. Or I'm checking on my property in New York, this and that, with the issues. Oh, I'm the landlord, I'm the owner. I'm just checking on the building and make sure everything's still good. Checking with the maintenance guy, make sure the super, make sure everything's still good with the tenants. Like people can come with some bullshit stories and just be like dropping off pets and it just be like, oh, none's the wiser. You are basically opening up a black market by doing this. So yeah, that is the information on the pet ban. Once again, Jersey better not follow suit with this bullshit. And if you live in a state that has this pet ban, I would love to hear your input on if you have noticed anything. If you're a pet owner and you've noticed this, or even if you're in another country and your country has this, by all means, I would love to hear what the transition was like. But I'm gonna leave it there. So, as always, enjoy yourself, enjoy the day, and stay prosperous. Peace.